Hello, welcome back to my weekly vlog. If you're not familiar, this is my golden year vlog. I am Jonelle. I am just vlogging each week of my 26 year of life on Monday nights just to talk about the things that are happening and to celebrate or commiserate about everything. And it's been another wonderful and busy week of mine. I am actually opening a second store, and I'm literally looking at this space in Southwest Atlanta. I'm filling it up with used art supplies, and people are excited about this, and they cannot wait for us to open. The people that are neighbors to me in this space are also excited for me to open. The person who owns the space wants nothing but my success, along with so many people who are rooting for me. And all of this feels so surreal. Absolutely, completely surreal. I still believe that I am just a normal person. And the person who's watching this is a normal person too. And we're all in community. We all like to craft or just make things or save the environment. And I hope that's why you're drawn to this channel. But just to watch things happen in real time is a beautiful feeling. And at times I just didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think that I was a person responsible. I feel like, especially as a Black woman, that I don't want to take credit for everything. And because it comes off as vanity, as overconfidence and arrogance and things like that. And I'm trying to pace myself. I know we'll have setbacks. We have some setbacks. We're just trying to get this space. But really watching things just moving forward and seeing how many people are volunteering to help us out with getting inventory, the people who are donating money to our organization so we can keep growing. It's just a very beautiful thing, and I am thankful for all who are involved, who will be involved. This space is not just one part that a singular part of our efforts to be a creative reuse empire throughout Atlanta. It is a part of multiple conversations that we're going to have with the Southwest West End Adair Park community. And I'm here for it. I'm excited to see that my hard work and the work of my staff is paying off, because it feels like nothing's happening. Everything's moving slowly. We're going forward, but it's like, what's the end? What's happening? What are we going to do? Where we're going to be a year from now, or a month even? And I'm just taking it all in. I'm very calm right now. I'm trying not to over project and over predict and worry too much, because I know what's for me is going to happen. And that's powerful. I turned 26 in March 26, and I kept telling myself, this is going to be my golden year. This is going to be the year great things happen, and I'm really going to feel like that girl on fire. And I did not quite feel that at the beginning of my 26 year, because of all the things that just went wrong. But everything is turning back around, and I really do feel like the girl on fire. I really feel the momentum of the Olympics, the momentum of the presidential election. All of this is stuff that people have worked very hard for, and they're reaping the benefits. And that's where I am right now, where I've worked very hard in just the past 3 years. I had to reflect on that and really look at the timeline, because I'm doing something that some people it takes them 10 years to do or 5 years to do, and everyone moves at their own time. But to think about I got my MBA in May 2021. I started working at Scraplanta in November 2021. We opened our store in October 2022, within a year of me being there. And not only did in that my first year did we open our store, we also obtained our 501c3 status. And we fundraised a lot of money. About, it was like $7,000 or $8,000, but to me that's a lot. And for a small nonprofit, $8,000 is a lot. So to do that in my first year and to say, okay, well, I want to open a second store, and here it is, August of 2024, 3 years within me starting this job, and I'm opening a second store, and I have 8 employees, and you know, I fundraised more than $8,000. Like, it's all coming into place, and I had to really trust the process. This has not been easy at all. Being the youngest person in the room at times, sometimes the only woman, the only Black woman, it has been a lot to deal with and take in. And the person who I was when I started this journey is completely different than who I am today. At this point, I am far more confident in my capabilities to do my job. I am even more passionate about the work that I do, because I started my creative reuse journey when as a volunteer in 2019, and here it is 5 years later. You know, I went from a volunteer to a sales associate to a sales floor manager to an executive director, and now I got 2 stores. So it's like I had a career path that I was just climbing up and up that ladder, and there's actually more for me to climb. You know, a lot of times we think that because of the top role at an organization is CEO or executive director, that's it. But we still have goals we need to achieve, and those might look different depending on the company. Some are like, let's make $1 billion, let's make ourselves an international organization. And for me, what I would like to see for Scraplanta, and what I am seeing, is an organization that is working to serve the Metro Atlanta community, to provide a joyful and inclusive space for those to come and get their craft supplies. They can de-stash on the old things that they've had in their house that people can make art with, and just being a part of the circular economy. I don't see myself working in isolation. I've already worked and plan to do even more work with Atlanta Sustainable Fashion Week. Now that we're in the city of Atlanta, we can work with the mayor's office of resiliency and sustainability, I believe is what it's called. And there's so many other organizations that I'm like, cool, I'm here. What can we do to support your organization? What we're doing in Tucker, we work with an organization called Loooong, and what they do is, along with the Monty's Women Health Center, they both have sewing programs for women who recently immigrated to America, so they can have those tangible skills and have financial independence. And how we partner with them is that, they don't need all the fabric that the women use. Like, sometimes, they have different qualities. Like, Loooong has an actual, like, clothing line. And so some of the fabric that they get donated, they can't use. But we have office supplies, and, like, a lot of times when women are first coming to America, they're setting up in their spaces, and there's things that people don't even think that they need. Like, for example, we have like 200 binders, and originally we thought we just give the binders to the teachers for the students. I remember I was in orchestra, I had a binder for sheet music and things like that. But then another demographic that needs binders, caseworkers. They have to keep files of everybody that they're working with. And when people are new to a country, they have all these papers that they need to keep up with, like green cards and birth certificates, Social Security. If you get a binder, sheet protectors to get all those things, then you have an easier file to store them in. So we're providing this like office classroom supplies and sometimes just even like notions that they may need, and then we'll get excess fabric from them, and we're just circulating this. Like I love working with organizations and realizing we don't need to just write each other checks. Sometimes we just need to give each other supplies, and we're helping summer camp programs for different types of youth. People are on a tight budget. A lot of times teachers are paying out of pocket for their classroom supplies. And, teachers do not get as paid as much as they should. They might have cost of living adjustments, but the cost of living has been bananas. Inflation has been terrible. So saving money wherever you can helps a lot of teachers, students, parents, makers, everyone in between. We're all trying to save money here. And thrift stores are one of the biggest fighters against inflation because we have lower prices and sometimes even higher quality materials than regular stores. And I'm just glad to be here. Like, I've been thrifting most of my life. When I was little, I thrifted clothes, but at times, I found myself wandering into the furniture section of the thrift store and sometimes picking up things to furnish my apartments. And I've thrifted sewing patterns. I used to, like, when I first got on Etsy, I used to like flip vintage sewing patterns to make a little money when I first started college. And I did not think that there would be thrift stores for art supplies, which I've had a lot of. I've carried some supplies all the way from Athens to Greensboro and back to Atlanta with me because I just did not know what to do with it. And then once I found Creative for Use in North Carolina, I felt so much better just getting rid of a lot of fabric and supplies, and then things coming to me, like helping build out hobbies that I didn't even know that I wanted to try. Now I feel more confident trying out these things like embroidery and sewing, like more elaborate cosplays, and even paper crafting. Now that my wonderful aunt gifted me a Cricut about a year ago, I'm cutting things up and I'm experimenting with new things, and I'm doing all of this because the barrier to entry is lower. Instead of me paying, $25 for, 3 or 4 yards of fabric. Instead, I can pay $25 at Scraplanta. I can fill a bag of fabric. I can get me some threads, some notions, and everything, even some patterns. And also I can show you guys, I got some more patterns. I'm really excited, y'all. So I will talk about my patterns in just a moment, if I can make sure I have them. But that's been a joy of mine to be able to provide that to the community, and not just for my own self who loves to sew, but for other people. Like, I love it when people come to Scraplanta. They tell me that they want to try this thing, and then I say, there you go. Here are the supplies. And then they're like, but I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I said, well, come to our sewing circle. It's pay what you can. So if you only got $5 for us or $20 for us, come to our sewing circle and we'll show you how to use your machine. We'll show you how to do things by hand, or we got machines for you to practice on. We also have a Scrappy Zine Club where, people can learn more about zines, sharing them with the community, techniques to make them. I did not know that the zine world was so intense, but it is. And I don't really see myself making that many zines. I actually made one for one of my employees, but I tried it. I got to try art, and I got to try it with people who I don't think I would have met just in the street, in the bar. It's nice that we're creating third spaces for people to create, preserve the environment as well. Like, I talk a lot about the art aspect of Scraplanta, but the environmental one is just as important. These things are really going to get thrown away because people did not know what to do with it. And it's somewhat understandable because a lot of times crafters get rooms full of stuff And if something happens to that crafter, if they pass away, then their children, who might not have taken up the craft, are like, can we just throw it away? Because what are we going to do with all of grandma's yarn and all of grandma's thread? And it's like, no, take it to a creative reuse center. Take it to an art supply thrift store. What they will do is make sure it gets in the hands of people who really could benefit from this art form. And in that, we're able to preserve culture. This is culture. The fiber arts, paper crafting, decorating. Like, as humans, we've always wanted to decorate the things that we have. We've adorned our bodies with paint. We fashioned animal furs and things like that to look a certain way in our bodies, not just out of function, but because it made us happy. You know, we look at the art that has been around for centuries because we're humans and we just want to create things. And we should all have the right and ability to do that. I think art is more than just something pretty. Me making something, me make, you buy, I profit. No, I don't think art is anything like that. I think art is storytelling and it's healing, and it's all of these great things that everyone should be allowed to do, because art can sometimes be the ugliest of our emotions that turn into the most beautiful of pieces. I know that sometimes people don't make the most appropriate art. Sometimes people use art to show their true colors, to show that they don't like certain groups of people and that they really don't care about what's going on. But because they created this thing that's an extension of their human experience and they shared it with the world, we can get an insight of what they see. And, you know, some people, you know, they might be lost causes when they make these terrible works of art, but others, it's like because they made it, now we have a conversation. Now we're saying, why did you depict this group of people like that? Let's talk about it. Art invites conversation, it invites community and solutions as well. So that is my yap about art. I truly love talking about art. The reason why I got into fashion was not just because it was cool and pretty clothes. It was because I liked watching the show That's So Raven, and I loved the way she had different disguises for different situations. And the disguises were fabulous, of course, but also what she wore affected how the people around her. And as I got older and I studied more fashion history and countercultures and things, I loved how fashion was used to express what was happening in our times and with our people, and how other people use fashion to communicate things. Like, for example, let me think. It's like I keep thinking about the Teddy Boys during the 50s and how it was like counterculture because the 50s was about assimilation. And here we got these guys who thrifted these Edwardian clothes to say, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to be your definition of a man because we don't approve of that. And they wore that to communicate to amongst themselves, I am part of your group, and to society, I am not a part of your group. And that's my favorite thing about fashion. It's like we use that to communicate like things. And even you know, I used to go to school with a lot of nerds who were dressed by their moms or who they had very basic clothing, and they'd be like, my fashion doesn't say anything about me. I'm like, it says everything about you. It says you're dressed by your mom. Your mom saves money. She got your clothes at Walmart, and you like to be comfortable and you like functional clothing. Like, and people are like, oh my gosh, how could you tell that? And I'm like, that's because what you're wearing. And I would observe some of my classmates' clothes and their clothing styles and their patterns, and I saw their definition of dress up and their definition of I guess their comfort clothes. And it's a beautiful process. If you ever want to go people watching and talk about clothes with me, I'm down. I went thrifting this past weekend in Smyrna. There's a thrift store called Park Avenue Thrift that's very popular. Like, everyone talks about it in the Thrifting Atlanta group. And I was like, there's one close to me in Fayetteville that I sort of like it. It reminds me of something I went to in Winston-Salem called Mega Thrift. But Smyrna was really nice. Really, really nice. Like, I did not expect to get anything. Like, usually when I go thrifting, I'm looking for one or two pieces. This time I was looking for some scrub pants to wear because I realized scrub pants are very comfortable and they have a lot of pockets. And that's what I went in for, and I came out with 4 pieces. I don't have those pieces with me, like, readily accessible, so I won't show them. But I bought them because it's like I keep giving away my clothes that don't make me happy, but I don't replace them. Which is, on one hand, it's very good that I'm, recycling and donating my old clothes. On the other hand, it's like, okay, but what am I going to put on my body when I need to leave the house? And so I'm trying to be more thoughtful about what I bring into my wardrobe and why do I have these things. So I got a dress, a romper, a skirt, and the scrub pants. I wore the scrub pants today because I was like, I'm going to be at work. I'm going to be setting up this store. I need something with pockets. So here it is, less than 2 days, and I've already worn one of the pieces. The skirt, it's long, it's red. I can use it for One Piece cosplay because a lot of One Piece characters wear maxi skirts and like bikini crop tops type deals. So I can do that. And because it's red, I can also wear it for UGA because it's red and black tailgates. I might come to homecoming this year. So boom, I already got my homecoming outfit. My romper that I got is black, and it's also, depending on how hot or cold it is at homecoming, I can wear that as well and dress it up with red accessories. And also, like, I need clothes just to wear around the house that I can be decent in. Like, here I am doing a vlog in pajamas. I love these pajamas, but also sometimes I don't want to just wear pajamas when I'm going to the mailbox or walking the dog around the entire block. So the romper was the perfect thing for that. And then the last piece was this floral dress. It is absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. And I got it because I just needed a dress that I could just throw on for, nicer events, something to show off my style. And it's a really nice dress. So, and it was not like a formal dress, but it's like I put it on and it made me very happy. I got these 4 pieces for $19.99. And I know there's a popular trend where people divide how much they wear the clothes versus how much they pay for clothes by how often they wear it, which is called, I just had the word in my head. But people are just saying how much the cost per wear of their outfit as a way of just rethinking overconsumption. And, if I only paid $7 for this outfit and I wear this outfit 10 times, it's 70 cents per wear. And me and how often I wear stuff, at this point I get it's like pennies per wear because I am very serious about wearing what I have over and over again and just loving on it. And, it's wore out by the time I'm done with it, but I'm very happy with my things. So, speaking of things, I know every time I have a video, show you guys something that I got new, or not new, actually, pretty much everything I've shown has been thrifted besides last time where I had my little axolotl hat that's very cute, and I'm very happy with it. And like I said, sometimes I'll buy something new because it's cute, and I see myself wearing this for years on end. I also see myself giving it to my child because of how cute that axolotl hat is. But last but not least, I'll show you guys some patterns that I got, and I'm so excited about these patterns. So excited. My friend and I are working together to do cost plans. If you're not familiar with the term, cost plan is when you plan your cosplays. If you're not familiar with cosplays, it's when you play dress up as an adult. Well, you can cosplay at any age, but it's a mashup of the word costume and playing. So we have several cons coming up: Anime Week in Atlanta, BlurredCon, MomoCon, and DreamCon. And a part of that is figuring out what are we going to wear, how do we do it in certain temperatures. Like Anime Week in Atlanta is December 15th in Atlanta. December's in Atlanta. We've had a really hard cold freeze like 2 years ago, but they're relatively mild. So what I wear in December in Atlanta, I can probably wear in March in DC. And because I know that BlurredCon's theme is like thriller, it's like horror themed things, then figuring out like, okay, how can I do like a horror anime in December, or something that I could, make scary so I don't have to make a completely different cosplay in March. Maybe I'm like the haunted version of this character. That makes sense? And so I have been on the hunt for some old simplicity out of print patterns. Like, that's why I get very excited about thrifting patterns, because whew, these pattern manufacturers packed up some of these prints, which makes me so sad, because it's like you have to go online, you have to look them up. Sometimes they're like $15 or $16 before shipping, before taxes. So if you can find it in store, you gotta grab it. And what I love is that in Atlanta, of course, we have a lot of cosplayers and folks in the film industry, so they'll have the pattern and they'll donate it to Scraplanta. And I'm like, ooh. And most of my employees know that I'm a cosplayer, so sometimes they'll set things aside for me to look through. And sometimes I do pass up on things. It's not everything that I want. I think it's, also helps me when I'm like, okay, did I actually make this cosplay? Will I actually make it? And then I throw it back to the ether. So let me just grab these pieces right quick. All right, so one of my lovely employees who knows how much I love cosplay and patterns had like a surprise for me. So like I said earlier, we're opening a second store, and we had some excess inventory that we had packed up to put in the second space. And there were some things my director of operations like, don't go through that box, that's for the second store, or I'm just packing things up and I'll put it in the space for you and you can unpack. I said, okay, fine. There was a box that had a bunch of cosplay patterns in it. And here's something that I noticed automatically is like this top part of the pattern. If it's bright orange, McCall's and Simplicity had that design for their cosplay patterns at one point in time. So, and they also had this design as well. So I'm like, this is a lot to see in this box. I'm like over the moon. I'm trying to unpack. I'm trying to also stock the store without buying too many things. But in all, I got 7 patterns, which isn't bad. But now I'll show you guys. And I've seen different crafters' rooms and how they store their patterns and how many patterns that they have. I never really know how much is too much when it comes to patterns, because it's a totally different conversation than fabric. Like fabric, you consume it, you use it eventually. Patterns, depending on how well you keep them, you just use them over and over again. And depending on what you do, how you use those patterns, it's not as bad for the environment, I'll say. Like, my sewing collection, my notions and things, I'll share with my friends. Like, if my friends need a pattern or whatever, we will exchange things and we'll talk about it. And like, if somebody saw this video and was like, Janelle, can you send me this pattern? If I'm not immediately using it, or I've already used it, then I'll send it on, because I don't think it's fair for me to just keep this to myself and not for anybody to use. So everyone can take with that what they will, but I understand everyone's different views on it. Also, this is how I'm starting to store my patterns. I talked about this earlier, but now that I'm putting them in these big 3.5 inch binders and sheet protectors, it's easier for me to store it and to keep track of my of my patterns. All right, so here's what I got. So this is Simplicity 3677. Like I said, it is a little bit older because of the design of the pattern envelope. Simplicity no longer does this, but it's for a pirate. I called it the somewhat historically accurate pirate costume because a lot of women who were pirates, they dressed up as men and they went undetected throughout the majority of their careers. Some did out themselves and say, I am a woman pirate, but for the most part, they usually had bridges, and actually this was a little bit looser and they didn't usually wear the corsets, but I want to do like a pirate cosplay because, of course, one piece. And it's only 20 pieces in all. It has a coat, 2 different types of shirts, and 2 different types of bridges, as well as like an overdress and a vest. And I'm trying to see which year this was made. It's not immediately visible on here, but I will say this is probably early 2000s, maybe 2008 to 2011, because it's designed by Andrea Shu, who did a lot of the patterns from then. Man, it's like now I'm just really curious, but I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time trying to get through this. Here's another, wait. Actually, let me go through the other one that's in the same like purple Simplicity top brand and see if there's any indication. Because I also learned that these patterns had 2 different numbers. So if I go online and look up Simplicity 0537, if I was looking for this, which I've been looking for this for ages, because look how cute this is. Like, I love that corset, like underbust corset, overcoat dress, and the ruffles. Like, you know me, I love my ruffles, and I will probably do a historically inaccurate pirate version as well, but I can do both. And it's really cute. Like, I want to be a little sexy with my cosplays. This one also does not have it, but also it might have been on the flap, and these are usually the first parts of thrifted patterns that go, because of how people store them, and then when they shuffle them through the containers, it's easy for the flap to fall apart. And then also the designer of this is Elaine Heigl, another one of the popular Simplicity costume pattern makers back in the day, and I love her stuff. One other thing I wanted to note, let me see, this one's, so a lot of the ones that I got, unfortunately, the biggest size is a 12, and I'm about a 14, 16, but the easiest thing I can do, I can just size up with these. As long as I have the base, I can size up, so I'm super happy and excited about this. All right, so, ooh, okay, here's another vintage Simplicity. So I don't know if I mentioned this in my other videos, but I do plan to make a Bridgerton strawberry shortcake mashup look, and this is like the perfect piece. Like, I've always been inspired by Marie Antoinette. I know she was not like the best person, but she is the inventor of cottagecore. Just saying. Look it up. But it is, this is like the design I want to do for the strawberry shortcake. I think I might do orange blossom and strawberry. Just seeing like what the time constraints are. This was made in 2008. So I was 10 at the time and definitely not allowed to wear anything like this, but I like that it's short. I think I've already looked it up on Pattern Review. A lot of complaints is that it's so short, but I'm like, this was an era. Like, it's almost something that I believe like someone would use to make for Fergie for her costumes, because like the Duchess era and like Juicy Couture, like this is that time. So this is exciting. And then here's another part of like the slutty costume era of the mid 2000s. Let me see what this one is. This is also 2008. And so this is short, it's cute. I just like it. It's very sassy, and the different corset variations. And even they have like little apron pieces as well, and head pieces. Once again, all these go from size 6 to 12. So I will have to size up with these. And now that I'm looking at this versus this, I actually think that this one might be older, because something about it reminds me of like Lizzie McGuire, which is a little bit older than 2008. So I'll do my research and maybe I'll talk about it in the next episode. Okay. And then I had just 2 more patterns that I saw and I really liked, and that were also my size, because I will size up for a cosplay pattern, but a size up for any other pattern, nah. Here is a Butterick from 1996, so my brother's birth year, and look how sweet that back is. Like, I would actually try and modify it to make it heart-shaped, because I just love the bows and I like the length of it, and it's just a cute little outfit, and it's 12 to 16, so I can have my top in a 14 and bottom in a 16, and then I have a cute little professional type date night outfit. And the last one, this one is from 2007. Look at it, like it screams 2007. I love it. And even though it says so witchy, I like think this would be great for another like around the house outfit. But I think it's also great for when I'm giving interviews and I'm trying to look like the cool artsy executive director. So I'm excited for this pattern, and I actually like that, you know, it has a top, a skirt, and a dress option. I think I might just do the dress option and make it shorter. I don't really like handkerchief skirts because I really, really feel like those are very dated. But I like having the option. I don't think I would make the top because the top seems a little too big, but I think the possibilities are endless. And that's what I like about patterns, is because you're buying possibility and you get to do whatever you want with it to make it work for you. So that's my latest pattern haul, my thoughts on what I'm going to be making. I hope to have some things made in the next episode or 2. I've been very busy, of course. We're opening a second store, fundraising, just trying to navigate life. And it's been a really great experience, but I am ready to take some time to sew. My therapist did say I need to have dedicated time for rest, and I'm sort of ignoring that right now. Well, okay, I'm not ignoring it. I have been resting. I just haven't been chilling. Like, I'm the type of person, I can have one day of rest, but we all know we need more than one day of rest. We need 2 to 3 days to recover and get our lives together for the week. So I'm gonna make sure I do that very soon. So thank you guys for tuning in this week. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And so next Monday, give you more updates on my store. Our soft opening is this weekend. So maybe I'll be crying and saying, oh my gosh, you messed up. Or I'll be even more jubilant, like, yeah, we did it. See you soon, guys.